example how we actually help some similar customer in this journey. But in the conversations earlier, and I think you all agree, and this is a common sense now to every one of us, we all live in the world of connected customers, right? So there are a lot of digital touch points out there, right, that your customer are interacting with you, and the key part is all about, not about yourself, it's all about your customers, right? This is a key part, and I believe that everyone agree with that. So this is a part where the customer journey mapping, right? Earlier, the panelists talked about the customer journey mapping, right? There are different stages of how you want to engage the customers. It's not just because like this is a male or female, when they come to your website, coming to your digital presence, they have certain things in mind. Do they know your brand? Are they considering buying your product or competing product? Or these days, people are very smart, right? They come in to do price comparisons, right? Are they in the stage where they evaluate? Are they ready to buy? Do you have an online shop to allow them to transact with you? But then the interesting part is actually from this onward, are you just going to sell your product and services once to your customers because you're doing a great campaign, you're hurting your bottom line, like we heard earlier, the bottom line, you give a lot of high discount to your customers. So people come, but they walk away, they never come back. What is a post-purchase process? What is your relationship with the customers? And along this journey, there are a lot of digital touch points that you involve. And you need to ask yourself the questions, are you playing in those kind of like touch points to interact with the customers, right? So I'll just pause a little bit, just think, what are you doing, right, along this customer journey? Are you playing on those kind of digital touch points today? So there's a couple of things I want you to ask yourself is, how do you see a digital strategy? I heard like the panelists talk about, you don't really have a strategy, you want to play and live in this digital world, right? But then you're basically trying to survive in this digital world. I'm not sure if you hear a lot about the disruption. You want to disrupt the business. You don't want to be disrupted, right? So one of the things that in the retail space is you have on the right-hand side, you have stores, right? A lot of, I think the retailer came from a brick and mortar business, and you go into the e-commerce, the e-store. You're not like Alibaba where you are a digital native, right? You come purely from online, but then you also see Alibaba, they're going into the brick and mortar as well. So this is like the full online, offline conversions happen. And a lot of the customers that I have in the retail business, they will just see an online store, an e-shop, it's just another store, right? If you're going to cost you like 200 grand to open a store, here, you probably say maybe I'll spend another 200 grand to open an online store, right? So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that what we need to think about in the rest of the 25 minutes of the presentation. I like using numbers, right? So a lot of people say now we are transforming ourselves into a data-driven business. So I want to share with you, and this is probably not something strange for you. This is from America, USA. Between 2006 to 2016, right, the online sales has been increasingly steadily, right? Towards the end of 2016 or beginning of 2016, on average, the online business, the e-commerce sales, roughly hit about 9% of the business. In Southeast Asia, in Asia, I see a lot of business where they have online presence. If they are lucky, they may get to 5%, right? So you think about like where you are in terms of that journey. So which means that if you have brick and mortar operation, it is still very important for you to actually do something in store. So this is Nike, right? It's a great brand. They invest a lot around experience in store, right? So this is Nike. I'm not sure if you have heard like or seen this news announcement, right? Regarding Nike and Amazon want to engage into more strategic alliance relationship. Nike today is the best-selling brand in terms of the transaction in Amazon, but they do not go direct. They actually through the third party and they're selling the Nike product out there. But the interesting part about like the marketplace, even Amazon, you cannot control the experience. However you presented the product, however we heard about using the search, you cannot change that. So Nike want to use the market power to negotiate, I want to change that experience, right? I want to engage the customer differently. right? Because like that's what they've been doing in-store for quite a while. So something for you to think about. The keyword here is experience. What are you doing with that experience? So we have a lot of partners in Sitecore. Out of the 4,000 plus customers that we have, one of the partners is PwC. Everyone will probably know about them. They recently have done a research paper called Total Retail. And while we heard about this and a very interesting aligned message, how do you actually invest in your in-store experience, right? So I'll talk about that. Out of the four markets, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and global, they all share similar issue, which the number one is how knowledgeable is your sales associate, right? Me as a consumer, I walk to the electronics store, I'm pretty digital savvy, I ask for information and the sales guy cannot answer the question. To me, he's useless, right? I have to use some very aggressive terms, so hopefully there's no HR people around here basically say I have a violation here. But I demand the sales to know what they're selling, right? So, and they are not doing it. This is the number one concern. Even you may have a top sellers, like we heard, she's super good, but after she leaves, all this knowledge like go away with her. So what do you want to play with this space? The opportunity, however, is you do have the digital channels. That is something you can control. How you can actually replicate that experience into your digital channel. People use a lot of digital these days, as you recognize. So I asked a question about, okay, I want to sell, I'm a retailer, should I sell on marketplace, or should I go and develop an e-store myself? So this is some of the statistics coming from Tmall, as Tmall come in and buying like Lazada, investing the money in there. But this is just some of the statistics to show you. You as a retailer, obviously, you want to sell a lot of expensive items, high margin item to make a lot of money. Everyone want to do it. However, it will never happen yet. Okay, luckily, some of the cheap stuff, they sell high volume, that's good. They're also lucky, like, and that's the goal, right? You want to actually sell a lot of items across your whole portfolios, right? Different price range. But effectively, you see most of the stuff they sell, lower volume and cheap items. So I have some customers in China selling into marketplace. So what the interesting part is they share is that on the in-store, they may be giving you like 10%, 20% discount. In the Tmall, like some of the premium stuff, because they cannot sell in the shop, so they basically dump the stock out on the marketplace and give out like 60% off, right? And that's the way how they participate in the marketplace. So the question again to yourself is, where would you like to play, right, in terms of selling your product online? We have another partner with Sitecore called Deloitte, right? So probably people have heard who they are. They have come up like a research paper which is actually quite interesting in 2014. There are 4 pillars I would like you to think about. Basically, it's to back up like what you have heard so far, right? So 84% of the visitors report using the digital for shopping-related activities before or during the most recent trip to a store. So you can see like people will do research, right? If they come to the shop and ask the sales associate, if your sales associate cannot answer the question, these people will have already done research online anyway, right? 84% of that actually do that. What are you doing in those spaces? Second part, conversion. That's why one thing I want you to think about, conversion. Consumer will use a device during the shopping journey, convert at 40% higher rate, right? 40% is not a small number. What do you want to do, and what are you doing today with the device strategy or execution? Forget about the grand term like strategy. What are you doing in this space? Order size. You want to measure how many cart items people put in your cart, or how big is the cart size, right? 22% of the consumers spend more as a result of using digital. This is a good thing. So then again, how can you actually participate? And the last bit I said, you are lucky people come and become your customer once, and you want to keep them coming. You want them to be loyal. 75% of consumers said product information found on social channels influence their shopping behavior and enhance brand loyalty. What are you doing with social? right? So this is just some of the points that Deloitte put together. I want to share with you and have you to think about. So in the rest of the session, I'm going to talk about 4 tactics that correspond to this kind of behaviors, right, or results that Deloitte has found. The first one, educate your customers. You might be doing a lot of campaign online, you do a lot of like SEO, SEM, that's great. A lot of the people come through the search, but they need to find a destination, and that's what I want to talk about. But how you can actually educate the customer. The customer does not know what they doesn't know, right? It's not like you go to search and you search for something. What is the keyword you want to search for, right? How can you influence that? I want to share with you a story. Have anyone here have heard of Yellowtail as a wine? Yes? Okay. I see Australian knocking the head. This is actually a case study done in the INSET, the business school. So Yellowtail, when they go into American market, obviously it's an Aussie wine, right? When they go to United States, USA, in the early 2000s, 17, 18 years ago, they actually faced a problem. In US market, wine is not a popular beverage. In a way, people will have a Budweiser and all this kind of stuff, right? But wine, okay, they might know Napa Valleys, that's a great deal. But they don't go by the grape varieties like Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon, right? Sauvignon Blanc. You have no idea what it is, right? Don't think the Americans are super smart. Hopefully there's no American here. We're too far away, that's fine. But they need to educate the market. And the behavior at the time is like you have like a super commercial opportunity called the American Super Bowl, right? And people will just like watch the TV and then they'll be drinking beer. And this is a phenomenon, it's the situation, right? So what Yellowtail want to do is run this blue ocean strategy, is go in and disrupt. They want to look at like how Americans consume their alcohol, right? They found out basically there are free events, it's top for them. Barbecue over the weekend, these are Memorial Days. Maybe you go for a date, you want to have a wine. You need to want to associate with some of the specific grape to show off like you know wine, right, as the man's here. And then like you might want to relax watching TV instead of consuming beer, you want to consume wine. So that's the mindset they want to change themselves, and that's what they want to educate the market. It's not just like they come in and talk about the usual stuff about the grapes, because no one knows about the grapes. So they want to promote themselves, associate with situation, with the scenario, or something I will call out as personas, right? That there is a situation where you want to do certain things, you want to associate yourself to that, a brand or product or services. I want to share with you a case. How many Australian here, except there's the one guy sitting over here? How many Aussie in the room? Okay, so I can continue talking about that because you have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Bunnings is one of the largest DIY do-it-yourself shop, right, in Australia. 240 stores worldwide, in the countrywide, generating roughly around $9 billion revenue. Not a small business. Recently, they acquired a company called Homebase in UK for about roughly around $800 million US dollars. So the in-store experience, so coming back to here, is that they're actually very friendly customer. They're DIY. So I used to live in Sydney for 7 years. So my wife is very demanding. Whenever there's something wrong in the house, I should basically scream out and say, you have to fix it. Hey, I work in IT, I don't work as a plumber, right? So it's a different business, right? Having said that, she expects me to fix things. So one day, like the kitchen sink is leaking, right? So you can actually open the cabin and unscrew something and see, okay, it's leaking, it's broken. So that's fine, I can take it off, go to the Bunnings store and show the staff. As soon as I walk to the store, the staff will walk out and greet me. Oh, good morning, sir, how can I help you? Or they will say, good morning, mate, how can I help you? So I show them this part, I have no idea what it's called. I just say like, look, this is broken. Immediately the staff say, okay, you can actually find that replacement on aisle 36. But for you to actually properly put it back, you need the tape to wrap around it. And the tape can be found on aisle 32. I don't know what I don't know, right? I just want to replace that. I didn't know I need to get the tape, right? So that's the experience they give me in-store, very professional, right? It's a great experience. They want to replicate a similar experience online. So they basically revamp the whole website, go through a lot of scenarios out there, and then you can actually look into the kitchen, right? identify which particular spot have issues, and click on it, and then they play out a 2 minutes video with this lady educating me. Everything is around educating your customers, right? That's great. And then I talk to myself, if she can do it, I can do it. I'm very competitive, right? But she has special help because she has the right tools, right? If I don't have the tool, I can't do it. And then the site will tell me like all the different tool sets available, right, to help me to conduct the job, right? And then I can go back and show off to my wife, see, honey, I've done it, right? In 2 days. So that's my SLA, right, to her. And then you can buy it online and all this stuff. Like this is what I want you to think about, the experience. How you replicate your great experience offline, online, and how you can actually drive people. Because if I don't have the e-commerce here in a way, people in Southeast Asia, again, I learn all this great stuff, and you know what? I turn around and go to marketplace and buy, because they buy cheap, right? So this is the part like how they actually trying to get the conversion out, but they want to educate you. So that's the first tactic, right? Educate your customer, have a great experience. The other part we hear a lot about is multi-channel engagement. There are customer journey, different entry point. So we have a customer in Europe called Nutricia. They basically produce baby formula. I see there are ladies here, if you're married, you have your kids, like the first kid particularly is very important. You got freaked out, everything is about the kid. You want to learn and bring the husband in and go to every single expo, right? And just like learn and see what product available, the baby pram, right? What kind of formula I should take, right? And you want to basically have some fun, right? So you have a magic mirror out there, take a picture, and then show your baby girl or baby boy what they're kicking around, and then like you give them an email address, give me a digital copy, and I'm going to post it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is, to show off like how happy you are, or how tough it is like being a mother, right? To get some sympathy from the husband. So there are a lot of chances for you as a to-be mom to share the information. And what Nutricia have done is like online, they have all the multi-factors website sharing information with you, but they also open up the option for you to register, become a member. It's based on the number of months you become pregnant, they will serve you certain information. By the time the baby was born, like a lot of the parents now, right, you take a picture of the kid, you post it on social media. My daughter is now 7 years old, she hates it. Do not post my picture on social media, on Facebook, Mom. Don't do it. And my wife still take it, and my daughter just kick around, right? Don't do it. She still do it, right? But having said that, one of the interesting things here is like they take a picture, they're very smart and very professional. They send the picture not just on the Instagram, they also send a stream of the picture to a panel of doctors. And the doctors will review it and see whether there's rashes on the skin, because they sell baby formula. And then if you see the rashes on the skin, which means that this particular formula may not fit this baby. As a result, they can recommend, oh, you know what, you should try another one, right? Very, very professional, great experience. But how do you know that? Through the various digital touch points, gather the information when you're willing to give out the information, and then to provide you the value-add services. They also have covered like the vending machine. We have ability to basically serve all this insight back to you, right? To see at which timeline of the journey that what kind of things this particular person have interacted with you. So if you are not a member, like we start to base on your cookie to track you, and once you become a member, we become pulling out like social media information to basically finish off the pictures, right? That's what we do. I initially have a video, so I don't have time to play it now, so sorry. I got the guys who prepared the audio for me, but I'm not going to play it. I'm running out of time. But I can happy to share with you afterwards. Tactic 3, personalization. A lot of the customers, when they look at the digital things, they think of personalization. So we have a customer, again, case study sharing, called Nissan, right? Nissan in Australia, they run a campaign. The journey they see is majority of the traffic will come through the search, right? So people are searching for a certain car, certain make. So what happened is they also hate this concept called microsite, campaign site, if you have heard of this term. Whenever you run a campaign, you create a separate site and leave it out there for 3 months. After that, it dies, it moves on. right? So to you, it's just a cost, you spend it, that's it. The content out there, great content, you're not reusing it. So they hate this idea. So everything what they want to do is to drive people back to the site, but then they personalize, in this case, based on the particular model this person is searching. You know what kind of keyword they bring these customers into your website, right? What are you doing with it? In that case, instead of like showing a different car on the banner, they show a very specific car that aligns to the search word that people use. So this is just one form of a personalization, right? So something for you to think about whether you're using it. By doing that, they think about their business. They do not sell car online, right? They have all the distributors out there. They want the people to go and do a test drive, because when you do a test drive, you feel it, you touch it, you have a higher propensity to buy it. So they have increased the test drive by 150%, getting the lead. So if your CFO come to you and say, why are you asking for all this investment? I have an investment to show you lead generation. I capture the contact because they submit the form when they want to do a test drive. Bounce rate, I'm not if you have heard of it. When people actually come from an external site to your website and immediately they walk away, it's called a bounce off, right? A bounce rate. So they have advertising going out there. By implementing a right personalized content, they have improved the bounce rate by 30%, so which is a great outcome, right? So this is like the power of personalization. Are you doing that? Tactic 4, integration of social, right? We talk about social. The way I see it, there's two ways of social. One way of social is like you push it out to the social media. Social media are your digital touch point. You want to make sure consistent content delivery is going to the people through the multiple channel, WeChat in Thailand, maybe Line, Instagram, Facebook. Those are your touch point, engaging your customers. And so we have, in China, we have Renault. They have a joint venture with Dongfeng Financial. So basically they have a website here and then they push the same content out there on the WeChat. That's one way of pushing it out. For you, something to think about. It's very simple to do it. But then another customer of us is called Mizuno, right? You may have heard of Mizuno, you've probably seen that. So Mizuno is actually very good, and this is a MizunoUSA.com. They leverage the Instagram, so they encourage the consumer to go out and post pictures. When you're running, you have a great trip, you've just finished a marathon, or in Sitecore Japan, we have a colleague, like he always do super marathon, like 100 kilometers. He's just a crazy man. But you can take picture and post it back on Instagram, but then the Mizuno have ability to suck all this content back and repost it back on the site to actually have these people to champion as the voice of the customers and show them how great it is to use the product. So something again for you to think about. And the big terms here is called user-generated content, UGC. Okay. And then going into the future a little bit, not too far in the future, some of the technology is already out there. One is called the chatbot, right? The AI, all this technology will come here, interact with the customers. And also we start to explore with like Amazon, like Echo, right? The Alexa. Alexa, please turn off the light. Alexa, please show me Netflix, whatever. So that is already happening in the market, right? It's no longer just the Amazon Dash. So this is an interesting device that I think is start to come into our part of the world. So in Thailand, there is a customer here. The marketing head office is based in Bangkok. Have any one of you heard of QNet? No? You will have heard of their competitor called Amway. Right? It's not a scam business. For them, I'm not talking about Amway. I don't know. QNet is actually extremely proud of the product, right? So they are running on network marketing, right? So you have a whole agents and commission structure, and you pay off and get the sales going on. It's building effectively a sales force. But they're super proud of the product such that they want to remodel the business such that they want to present the product directly to end customers and have customers to actually go and buy it because they're just super proud of how good the products are. They develop it and produce it, selling part is through the network. So they're doing that, and they basically on our platform, and the CEO basically say faster to market, happier, independent representative, which is the agent, and the customers. So And this is coming to the part where you're going to use the QR code or the reader. So tomorrow, so I'm not sure how many of you are going to continue to stay, but we actually have a session between 3 to 4:30, where we are going to have a workshop run by my colleagues to talk through like the maturity model, and it will give you a framework to think about where you are on your digital journey, and help you to identify some of the key goals you want to achieve. Later on, John, please do not play with your phone, please. He will pass you some of the reminder sheet if you want to do that, and please come and grab it from John. We actually recently have done this workshop, we call it board game, with one of our customers, Xerox, actually close to the airport here, because they have the whole regional team actually flying in Bangkok, and we have run through this very useful session out of them. We also have done a lot of research ourselves, so there are 2 particular white papers. One to talk about like what you want to do on the digital channel. One is on the commerce bit. So we can actually happy to share with you. I don't read through the numbers all here. But in summary, right, there are 4 things I want you to remember, but ask yourself a question: how do you use a digital presence to drive better awareness and conversion? That is a topic that you have come in and listened about. Right? So I see people are not sleeping, which is good because it's just before lunch. So first of all, own your digital destinations. A lot of people, when they talk about like search and everything, I challenge them and say, you are promoting a lot of campaign where you want to drive the people to, right? They're not coming to your office, right, to see you. They're coming to your distributor, they're coming to your branch, they're coming to your website. So there is a destination that you can create, right, to drive people to.